Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be covering you how I attempted my problem set 0 using Scratch. Alright, so this is the starting screen. Welcome to the shark game. In this game, you're a shark and you have to eat apples, and you can get points if you're eating apples. However, there's a witch coming for you, and you have to escape the witch at all costs. So this is the beginning. And at the top you can see score and high score. You can ignore the hidden and I'll go more into what those are later on in this video. And so let me just show you a quick demonstration of how this game works. So you can just type whatever and start. Okay, so over here you can see a witch, and the witch is gonna start coming at you once you eat your first apple. So there, so the witch will start coming at you faster and faster as your points increase. So 1 apple, 1 point. So keep getting the apples. Alright. So yeah. So let's say the witch catches me and I die, and then you can see what's your score and what's your high score for this game. So game over. Do you want to play again? Yeah, sure. Let's play again. And then yeah, there you go. This time around the apple is pretty close to the witch, so we have to be a bit safe. Alright, so and yeah, you can see the high score is still there from your previous game. And yeah, let's try to beat our high score, and you'll see that our high score is gonna increase. Oh, this game is pretty difficult. You have to be like a pro. Yeah, so we already beat our high score, but let's see how far I can go. Oh shit. Alright, so there you go. Do you wanna play again? Yeah, sure. Then that's how it goes. So if you like what you've just watched, I'll show you a demonstration of how I created this game. Alright, so here we are in the Scratch website, and let's create a new Scratched project. Alright, so first and foremost, we need the initial foreground where we're gonna share the instructions to our game. So let's find an area. So maybe let's see, maybe school. I'll just use this for the time being. I'll just delete this cat because we won't be using it. Since I've already done this before, I know the structure to how to do this. So we will be using a variable that is gonna keep track of where we are in the game. So are we at the front landing page of the game? Are we playing the game, or is the game over? So we have 3 states. So we can create a variable for that, which is game state. Alright, so when we I click the backdrop, so I'm in the backdrop coding section right now. So when the button is clicked, the variable game state is gonna be set to 0. So 0 refers to the initial landing page. So once it's set to 0, we can have a forever loop. Okay, so for every single sprite, we're gonna have a forever loop. Okay, this is like a convention for programming actually. Like every single program is gonna run forever, and you get to find out why it's helpful in just a bit. So forever, okay, so this forever loop is gonna start running when this button is pressed. Okay, so forever, okay, if the game state is 0. Okay, so how we do this is, if the game state is equals to 0, then we want to alright, so if the game state is 0, we want to technically tell the user what the instructions are. So welcome to this game. Eat the apple, get points, and get points, escape the witch at all costs. Alright, so yeah, that's all actually. So ask this and wait, and then once the person gives a response, click enter anything, start. So enter anything to start. Okay, so we ask this, so there you go, and then it's gonna supposed to start. Okay, so once this starts, we want to set our variable to 1. So 1 is gonna refer to when the game has begun. All right, so yeah. Yeah, so for this, right, we have to have another if condition to check if the game state is 1, and if the game state is 1, we want to change the backdrop to be like a game themed backdrop. So we have if, so this forever loop is coming in very handy, even very early on in this project. So over here, let me just duplicate this. You can right click to duplicate. So if it's 1, then we want to change the backdrop to something else. So let's choose another backdrop when the game has started. So we can use this. It's fitting with sharks, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so if this is the case, then we want to switch the backdrop to Arctic. Alright, and if the game state is 0, we want to make the backdrop to become school. Okay, so when we start, it's gonna be school, then when we enter something, it's gonna be the Arctic. Alright, so yeah, now we can add our sprite. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just use the shark. So we use shark. There we go, a shark. Right, so the shark looks humongous, so I'm just gonna change the shark's size to become a little bit smaller and more better looking. Looks, change size to 50%. Yeah, so yeah, now it's better. Okay, so now we want to have the looping, right? Like I mentioned previously, every single sprite is gonna have one forever loop. So forever, once this flag is clicked, we want a forever loop, and in this forever loop, this is gonna be pretty important because let's have the if we are in the game state, we want the shark to appear. If it's not, we want it to completely disappear. Okay, so if, yeah, we can use this. If game state is 0, then we want it to not be here, right? So we can use hide. Okay, and in another situation, if the game state is 1, then we want it to show. We can delete hide. Okay, so yeah, so now since it's not in the game state, it's gonna be hidden. Alright, okay, so just for debugging sake, we can just set it to 1, so like we know what's gonna happen when it's set to 1. So when it's set to 1, then we are in this shark stage. Alright, so it's 1 and we are showing the shark. Now we want the food for the shark, right? You know, apple seems a little weird, so maybe we can use another food for the shark. Muffin is even more weird, but no way I'm gonna use a puppy. Let's see. Food. Egg, you know what? I'm just gonna use egg. Now egg is not very easy to see. I'll just use apple, you know. Apple, to save the date. Alright, and then we also want to have the forever loop for the apple. So when this is clicked, forever, yeah, forever, and then if it's in game, we want it to show, and if it's not, that we want it to be hidden. If variable game state operator game state is 0, then we want it to be hidden. Hide. Okay, and if it's not 0, then we want it to show. Same thing. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so by right it's not showing. How come? Oh, because game state is 0. Oh, okay. No, it's supposed to be show, not hide. So yeah, these are some of the debugging techniques that we'll develop, I guess. And yeah, I could just do this instead of having this extra one. So yeah, and then the size of the apple, I'll make it smaller as well. Right. Okay, there we go. So okay, so in the demo I showed you earlier, the shark is, you're moving the shark, right? Technically you're not moving the shark is just following your cursor, right? So if game state is 1, then we want the shark to go to our mouse pointer, so it gives an illusion to the user that the shark is moving, but actually your mouse is moving. It's just that the shark is following your mouse. Alright, so yeah, and now we want to yeah, let's finish the apple. So whenever the cursor is touching the apple, we want the points to increase. Alright, so create a variable and we have score. Alright, so apple, if the game state is 1, then we can have another if condition. If touching mouse pointer. Alright, so if touching mouse pointer, we want to increase the score variable by 1. So change score by 1, and then what we want to do is we want to place the apple in a random position, so go to a random position. So there we go, random position. Nice, looking good actually. Alright, so yeah, then you can see the score increasing as well. So now we want to have the evil witch. Alright, so let's find the evil witch. Yeah, this looks like an evil person. Alright, so yeah, the same thing over again, which is to create a forever loop. Forever, and then once again same thing, which is if the variable game state is 1, then we are in the game. If it's not, then we are not in the game. So operators, if the game state is equals to 1, we can use 0 first. If the game state is equals to 0, then we want our sprite to be hidden, and if it's not, we want it to show. Hide. Alright, duplicate, 1, show. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yeah, the size of the widge is way too large. Let's try to make it a more suitable size. How about 30? 30 is too small. 50 it is. Yeah, 50 seems I guess. You know what? I feel like it's better to have it smaller. Yeah, it's better to have it. Okay, so there we go. And the witch is gonna come towards you. So how we do that is motion. We want it to point towards the mouse direction, and then we want it to move towards us. Alright, so but then we want it to move towards us faster as the score starts to increase, right? So how we do that is, how I did it at least, is that I used an operator. Like we have the score, alright, score divided by I used 2 in my case. So for example, as the score increases, it will start coming faster and faster towards you. So for example, score is 10 divided by 2, 5, so it will come to you 5 steps per second or something. So something like this. Alright, so for us it's a little weird because our score has not reset. So how we can do that is, in here we can reset our score. So when the button is clicked, how can we do this? Oh yeah, so we can do it here. So variables, when we are changing the game state to 1 to start the game, we can also change the score to 0. Okay, so here, alright, game state to 1. What is this doing here? Okay, oh yeah, I have this so that, yeah. Alright, so yeah, sure. I'll add this here as well, just for our testing sake. This is our testing playground. So when it's clicked, we want it to be already at the game state, and we want the score to be 0. Alright, so yeah, now you can see the score is increasing and the witch is coming to us at a faster and faster pace. Alright, so we still don't have the feature that once the witch is touching our cursor, we want it to be game over, right? So how we can do that is, if events, yeah, not events, control, I guess. There, sensing, sorry. If the witch is touching our mouse pointer, we want the game state to be 2. Okay, so 2 is our last game state, and that is the game over game state. Alright, so let's try it out. So okay, so game state 3. Alright, so as you can see, everything just crashed because our code doesn't know what to do in game state 3. Alright, so in game state 3, what we want to do is, we want to change the backdrop, hide everything, and tell the user that you lost blah blah blah. So we want it to be a gloomy background saying that, oh, you did a terrible job or something. Space, you know what, I'll use space. Moon, sure, you know, sure, you know what, sure, yeah. Okay, so wow, this one block is doing all the job for us. So let's duplicate this. So if it's game state 2, then we want to hide it as well. Same for the rest. Let me just quickly do that. Okay, so if it's so this time around, let me just forcefully make it game state 3 so that I can see what's going on. So game state 3, okay, game state 3, sorry, game state 2, my bad, 2. So game state 2, the witch disappears, nice. And then we want the apple to disappear as well. Duplicate game state 2, alrighty, and we want it to hide. Let's see if that works. Okay, so the apple disappears. Now lastly, the shark, we want the shark to disappear. Okay, so there, now the shark is gone as well. Lastly, we want our backdrop to change. So if the game state is 2, then we want the backdrop to be space. Moon, yeah, moon. Alright, so there we go. So now it's the moon, and we want to ask something. So let me duplicate this. Ask the witch got you. You have been decimated. I don't know how to spell decimated, but and destroyed. Wait. Enter anything to play again. Alright. So yeah, so when that's pretty sad. Okay, so when that happens, we want to do something like this. Alright. So we want the game state to be 1 and the score to be 0 again. Alright, so now we also want to have a high score variable, right? So high score. Okay, so in this high score variable, we want to do something interesting. Let me add, you got decimated, humiliated, and destroyed. Oh my gosh. Okay, nice. Okay, so yeah, for the high score, right? So for the high score, if the score is more than the high score, which we can use the variable here. If the score is more than the high score, then we want to set our set our high score to score. Alright. So if you don't understand how this works, just think through it for a bit and you get it. If not, just comment down below and I'll help you guys out with that. If score is more than high score, then set high score to score, and we want this to happen while it's in the game stage. Alright. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, then now we can, okay, so now for this, the initial game state is gonna be 0 and the score is gonna be 0. Alright, so let's see how this game goes, and if it let's see if it goes according to plan. So okay, or something. Okay, so we have the shark, we have the apple, the witch is coming towards us, our score is increasing, our high score is increasing as well because this is the highest that we've done. Okay, so we died but nothing happened. So let's just try to figure out why that happened. Okay, so the game state is okay, so the game state became 2. Oh, the game state became 3 somehow. Okay, so there was a bug somewhere. game state. Okay, so we did change game state by 2. We're supposed to do set game state to 2. Yeah, so now it should work. Just type anything. Okay, so another thing is that when this button is clicked, we want the high score to reset as well, kind of. Yeah, we want the high score to reset, so set the high score to 0. So the high score will only be there if you don't press the flag button. So when you press the flag button, the high score is gonna disappear. So welcome to the game, type anything. Okay, so the apple. Let's just pretend to die, and we died. Okay, you've been decimated, humiliated, and destroyed. Type anything to play again. Okay, so yeah, the high score is there, the score is there. You can hide the game state. Yeah, so you can just easily remove it and stuff. Okay, so yeah, the witch is coming for us, and we died. Okay, so everything resets and stuff. Alright, so there you go. This is how the game is gonna be running. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you have any questions, comment down below and I'll try to help you out with that. And hope you learned a thing or two from this video. See you. Bye bye.